Hey, everybody. Welcome to Directions. My name is Christian Gaddis. I am the Director of Recruitment Marketing here at 43 North, and I'm joined by my friend.
Carly Ortiz, the Senior Talent Manager at 43 North.
Awesome. And so before we get started, we really want to give everyone a quick intro of who we are and what we do. So for those of you that don't know, 43 North Compass is all about connecting talent with job opportunities at startups and tech companies. So me, as the Director of Recruitment Marketing, what my role entails is really just spreading the word, making sure that everyone knows about all these amazing opportunities that exist in our startup and tech ecosystem, connecting with companies, connecting with people who just want to learn more about even what it means to work for a startup.
And I have the really fun opportunity as the Senior Talent Manager to talk to the talent and really speak to the people, the community in Buffalo, learn more about you and connect you with the right startup. So whether it's a 43 North portfolio company or it happens to be one of our bigger partners in the ecosystem, just happy to connect you so that you find the job that you're hopefully looking for.
And speaking of connections, right, that's exactly what we're here to do. So for those of you that don't know, right, Directions is really your chance, excuse me, to connect with us virtually. So if you want to connect with me, my QR code's in the corner to follow me on Instagram, on LinkedIn rather. So just go ahead and scan that, connect with me, send me a message if you have any questions. Or if you want to connect with Carly, there's one for her too. But you can always just find us right there, right? Nice and easy. We like to keep it simple for people to sign in. So yeah, I mean, like I was saying, right, the big part of what we do and the main thing that we're looking to do is drive those connections. And so we created Directions as a way for folks to join us, connect with us virtually, hang out, learn more about opportunities, learn more about the roles that exist, and even ask questions that they may not have been able to ask, at any other point. So we do have a Q&A that's ready for you, right? Just drop it in the chat, any questions you may have. We'd be more than happy to answer them. Or if you find us on social and you want to drop a question in there, we'll make sure we get those answered one way or another. And if you don't have our socials, again, right up in that corner.
This is fun.
Right?
We're gonna get good at this.
easy points, right?
Yeah.
But you can follow us on all channels, right? At 43 North Compass, all channels, all social media. So Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Carly will be making a bunch of TikToks. You'll be seeing her. Maybe even doing some weird dances on there. We'll figure out what those things look like.
We're gonna try it all.
We're gonna have fun. Yeah. So, I think what we should do now is I'd love to just dive right into some of our job openings. And again, for those of you that don't know, right, 43 North Compass has the latest jobs at the fastest growing companies listed on our job board. So if you scan the QR code, if you go to 43 North Compass, I like the little little glitter around it there. But if you go to 43north.org /jobs or /compass, you can go on, right, check out the latest jobs at the fastest growing companies, check out jobs within the 43 North portfolio, and really make sure that you're, staying up to date. We also will have access to join our talent network, super easy. So that way when recruiters like Carly are searching for talent, they can go on there and they can find you. The great thing about a talent network, it syncs with your LinkedIn profile. So really all you have to do is just keep that LinkedIn updated, and then Carly's going to see you based on your latest skills. And if she finds a job that maybe you're a great fit for, she's going to come call in and reach out to you and see if you want to join. Or you can even sign up for our email newsletter, which the great thing about that, right, is again, we're delivering the latest jobs right to your inbox. Every week, we're talking about networking opportunities, other ways that you can come, meet founders, and really just get immersed in this startup and tech ecosystem. All right, so I'm going to kick it over to Carly to tell you a little bit about some of the great roles we have with some of our 43 North portfolio companies.
So first, I want to tell you a little bit about StoreCash and their revenue operations specialist. So StoreCash just joined us all the way from California. They obviously won the competition in October, and we're super excited to be helping them grow their team here in Buffalo. So StoreCash is an app that uses QR codes and barcodes to earn cash back. It's a really great, easy to use app. I use it, highly recommend it. But anywho, they're looking for a revenue operations specialist, somebody that's really eager to help them do a couple of things. So They want to develop new revenue streams at StoreCash. So this person, ideally somebody who might have startup experience, or just excited about their product in general. I always say it's really important too, and I'm probably going to sound like a brokered record over time, that it's really important that you connect with the product or service, and even the founder of the company. So the revenue ops specialist is a unique opportunity to join one of our fast growing companies.
Yeah, and it's super cool. I know you talked about using StoreCash. I too am a StoreCash user. So
Yeah, we're not just saying that because we, work with them, but really,
no, I mean I have receipts, like
yeah,
well, I
it's
mean
good
digital
stuff.
receipts, not actual literal receipts, but I
Fair.
guess technically they are. Yeah, so Carly, tell them a little bit about Guidesley and the roles they have also.
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, our really cool platform that we're using pops up the job that we're talking about. So if you scan the QR code on the screen right now, you're going to have the opportunity to view the growth / e-commerce manager at Guidesley, and that takes you directly to our careers page at 43 North. So let's talk about Guidesley and the growth manager that they're looking for. So Guidesley is a platform that makes it easier for outdoor and recreational guides to run their this SaaS platform, so that they can run the back end of their business a little bit easier. So this is a really unique opportunity for somebody who is ready to get into a startup that maybe has prior sales experience and ready to take things to the next level. Like Guidesley's having a lot of fun, but they're ready to take it to the next step. So the growth manager is going to be responsible for the e-commerce operation. That's kind of why we put that second, like e-commerce, in the job title. And then they really want somebody who maybe has experience in managing like an analytics platform.
Mm-hmm.
And reporting out key metrics. So you'll work really closely with the CEO and founder, which is super exciting as well, right on that ground floor working with David over at Guidesley.
And is there is it important for them for you to have a passion for the outdoors? Are they one of those companies that really want you to kind of, be eager to maybe get out there on the water yourself?
Yeah, so definitely, first and foremost, if you connect with the outdoors in any capacity, maybe you're a fisher, or maybe you're just out there going hiking on the weekends or something, but you truly have a passion for the outdoors. Guidesley certainly is going to be a company that you're going to want to take a look into. They talk a lot about the passion that their team has for the platform they've created.
Yeah, that's cool. So I know we have another one from Guidesley, right? Tell me a little bit
do.
about this product manager role.
So the product manager, a little different than growth, and this one is going to work directly with Taylor over at Guidesley, and they're looking for someone to help define the product roadmap and strategy over there. So someone experienced with product prior to, so whether it doesn't have to be the same industry, that you don't have to be coming from the outdoors to have worked on this specific or work in this specific product manager role, but an understanding of customer experience and helping to identify and fill gaps within the product essentially is what they're looking for this person to do. And again, you'll work really closely with the founding team, which I think that's what's super unique about a lot of our jobs within the 43 North portfolio, is you're getting in at the ground floor and having the opportunity to make a difference and see the change when you come in.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I always say to a lot of people, right? I talk to them about when they want to join a startup and kind of help them understand, like, you're not just going to be employee number, 5, 3, 6, 7, right? The founder is going to know you by name. They're going to understand that, hey, like Carly in sales is killing it, not just someone in the sales team. So it's a great opportunity really to get noticed for the work you do, the skills you're able to build, and really elevate your career from there.
For sure. It's an opportunity to really just learn a lot too. One day you could be coming in as the product manager and the next day you're working on something in marketing because that's what the business needs. But everybody who's kind of just willing to jump in and get the job done ultimately is what founders look for.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. All right. So I'm going to step a little bit outside of the 43 North portfolio and talk about a job in our ecosystem with Centivo. And so they're looking for a marketing operations and analytics specialist. And for those of you that don't know, right, Centivo is revolutionizing healthcare by providing affordable, high quality healthcare solutions to millions of hardworking Americans burdened by medical expenses. And so in this role, right, this marketing operations and analytics specialist is going to oversee the data management within HubSpot, ensure that data integrity, collaborate cross-functionally with multiple teams to troubleshoot and implement solutions, hence kind of the operations piece of it. And you'll also be charged with creating and maintaining documentation, conducting workflow audits, and really building reports to optimize marketing operations. So they're looking for someone with more sort of proven experience in marketing operations in HubSpot, and with a strong analytical skill and a proactive mindset for processes and processes improvement.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, that's a mouthful,
Extensive,
but
it's
a great role with a really fast growing company. We see a lot of kind of openings coming up with Centivo, and just a great opportunity again for someone to jump into the startup space. I know for me personally, right, I never saw myself working in startups, and then I got here and I realized that really this is the career path that I want to stick to and I want to stay on, because it's just so different and beneficial. And then I'm going to toss it back over to Carly to talk about our friends at Tech Buffalo.
Cool. I want to remind everybody too, if you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. Certainly happy to answer them. If you haven't already, connect with Christian and I on LinkedIn. You can always shoot us a message that way too. Happy to answer any questions at any time. And then we'll go through any at the end if they come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our friends at Tech Buffalo are hiring 2 part-time interns this summer. They're really excited to have somebody working with their higher ed lead, as well as their community impact lead over at Tech Buffalo. So it's an opportunity, 2 separate interns to work really closely with the impact that Tech Buffalo is making on this community. So if you're a student looking for an internship still this summer, certainly scan the QR code over there to check out Tech Buffalo, or send me a message and I'd be happy to connect you with some of our friends over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know our friends at Tech Buffalo are great. They also are located on the 24th floor at Seneca 1. So we work closely with them. We see them around the office all the time. Definitely a fun internship and a great program that they have going on over there. And again, right, if you're looking for any of these opportunities and more, just visit the 43 North Compass job board. A lot of great opportunities that are just hanging out on there, waiting for someone to find them. Or again, right, like Carly said, reach out to us, connect. Let's make sure that we have it all going on. All right. So I know, Carly, we were just talking internships, and I want to shift over to talk about the 43 North internship program, because I know we just recently closed our application process and kind of completed some first round of interviews.
We did.
So I would love just to hear, you talk a little bit more about the process and maybe share something about what you do to look for in interns.
Yeah, definitely. We switched things up this year and decided to, maybe you noticed if you were interested in the internship, but we decided to focus on 3 different focus tracks for our internship program this summer: portfolio, marketing, and events. And so we really wanted to bring students in that say, maybe I have an interest in learning more in marketing. I have no idea what events is, but I want to learn more. Or really, they were focused on the portfolio side of what 43 North is doing as we recruit companies to come to Buffalo. So we took the opportunity, put that out there. We closed up, like Christian said, early this week, kind of today, we're closing up that first round of interviews, which is super exciting for us. Really looking for students who are super excited about what we're doing in this community. First and foremost, we want to look for passion. So are you passionate about Buffalo? Are you passionate about startups? That's kind of the things we were looking for to begin with, just that passion, no matter what it's about. We wanted to learn about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super great. And so, as you're talking to students, I'd love to hear more about what did they do to make themselves stand out, maybe to show that passionate or how eager they were to be a part of what we're building here in this startup community.
Yeah, there were a lot of students who I could tell not only did their research, right? They knew about 43 North, they knew about Compass. They had maybe even attended one of our finals events in the past, which is exciting. And so they stood out in different ways. Just being able to have a conversation with a student. I always take the approach as a recruiter. I just want to have a conversation. I want to get to know you a little bit better. What are your passions? Why are you passionate about Buffalo and the startup ecosystem? What interests you about this? So simply just being able to kind of break down those basic walls during an interview of how scary it can be to get on the phone with a recruiter. I kind of like to break those down and just get to know somebody a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I always try and picture myself at that age.
Yeah.
And one, I'd be like, I don't even know that I wasn't out there looking for
Yeah,
internships, right?
same.
But just when I'm talking to students, even making them know that they're on the right path, they're
For
doing the
sure.
right thing, right? Taking those steps early on and gaining that experience of even just interviewing, right? Can
Definitely.
sometimes in just getting comfortable with that can be super beneficial.
Yeah, we saw a wide range from, freshmen all the way to grad students. So it was really exciting to see all the students coming in passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know you talk about making students feel comfortable, helping them to kind of ease into it and not really panic. So what are some of your favorite questions to ask as both an interviewer
Ooh,
and as an interviewee?
good. Good question. I think one of my favorite questions, and I touched upon it just a second ago. I really want to get to know somebody, and the simplest question, which can be like the most challenging to answer sometimes, but my favorite question to ask is like, tell me about yourself. And that can be very hard to answer. Like, where do I start? How do I start with? Do I start with school? Do I start with my work experience, my internship experience? But the reason I like to ask that question is because I truly believe there's a reason why a student or a candidate applied to a job to begin with. Something, spoke to them, whether it was in the job description or that company. And I really want to get to know the individual a little bit better. I believe as a recruiter that everybody has a story to tell. And I want to learn your story and help you as you go through figuring out, okay, what's my next move here? Is it this internship or maybe it's completely pivoting my career? And I want to hear more about that. So while it's kind of an uneasy question to answer sometimes, I truthfully am coming from the place of I just want to know your story.
Yeah. Okay, so that's you on the
That's
one
me.
side, right? Now you're on the other side of the chair, right?
Mm.
What are you asking as an interviewee?
So a lot of times I get the question like, what brought me to 43 North? And I actually really love that question, right? Because I just talked about everybody's story. I never thought my story would take me to the startup world. And to be like very honest, I had no idea how big our startup ecosystem was until I started working at 43 North. And maybe that's a little embarrassing to say, but in all honesty, I can't imagine looking back. I'm so excited that my story or my journey brought me here because it truly is such a fun space to work in.
Yeah. That's funny. I know one of my favorite questions is always, right, asking interviewees what they know about 43 North.
Yeah.
And I always kind of give them the little safety blanket of letting them know, like, hey, listen, truthfully, I didn't really know what 43 North did until like week 2 on the job,
Yeah.
right? Everyone sees this awesome startup competition that we do every year. And that obviously takes center stage,
For sure.
literally, right? But then to understand what goes on for the other kind of 364 days where we're helping these companies and these founders move to Buffalo, build their team, continue to grow their business, and really fall in love with our city. I think those are the things that really end up kind of go into the job that you
For
don't
sure.
even know exist or that are there.
Definitely.
So then you're talking to a student now.
Yeah.
They're asking you, hey, I really want an internship. What are you telling them they need to do to find an internship? Obviously, knowing 43 North is closed, but our friends at Tech Buffalo, maybe you're looking for
Sure.
folks, or other people are looking for folks. What are you telling these students now in terms of looking for internships?
Definitely 2 things. Connect. I still want to talk to you. Maybe the 43 North internship program application is closed, but there's still opportunities. So definitely connect with me. I'll point you in the right direction. Second, obviously, check out the careers page at 43 North. It's going to show all the internship opportunities that our friends in the community still have open. And so that's a great place to start.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and again, right, dive into the Q&A. I see we have a few comments in the chat, so I'm happy to dive into those. But again, feel free to drop any questions you have in there. Let us know what's on your mind. And again, right, you can follow us, sign up for the Compass newsletter and all the things to make sure that you're up to date on everything we're doing right there in the corner. But I see the first question from John. John, thank you for joining and for asking a question. Was asking if 43 North works with other similarly gold organizations, and also are there different groups or startups meeting for coffee? Okay, great. So John, that's a great question. Yes, we try to stay active in the community, working with a lot of other similarly gold organizations and events. Hence, right, talking about our partners at Tech Buffalo. We work closely with also, right, Be in Buffalo, to make sure that, again, we're helping and kind of building and lifting up this startup and tech ecosystem. What I would say is, if you want to connect with us, one of the best ways to do it, whether you're a candidate, whether you're an organization that's looking to partner with us, join us for office hours.
Definitely.
They are open to the public. I'll be there. Carly will be there. Really just an easy, casual way to come out. We kind of pop up at different locations. So stay tuned. You got to follow us on social media and sign up for our email newsletter to see where we're going to be and when. But it's a regularly cadenced event where we will be out and about at various locations, coffee shops. We just had our first one at Seneca One. And so great attendance, great opportunity to come out and just chat with us a little bit about any of those things that you're interested in doing. And then we do our best to make it over to things like Buffalo Open Coffee Club and other things like that to make sure that we are connecting with the community and meeting people where they're at. But yeah, I would say find us. If we're not somewhere, shoot us a note on LinkedIn.
We'll meet you somewhere.
We'll meet you somewhere. That's exactly it. Yeah, great. Feel free, anyone else, to drop any other questions in the chat and let us know.
I also want to say, while we're waiting for maybe another question or two, thank you, everybody who joined us today live. This was really exciting for Christian and I to launch something new. So we're really happy that you joined us, and can't wait to continue these conversations, talk more about jobs that continue to open up in the startup ecosystem here.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is. It's all about connecting. It's all about making sure that we're able to give people the access that they need to land these life-changing roles that we're posting on our site. So it's not just about telling you about jobs, but it's also hopefully helping you to get them. I see we have another question coming in, and it's, what are recruiters looking for when they looked at my LinkedIn profile? A resume is always required and shows you have to have experience. So what should I focus when I work on my LinkedIn? That's a great question. I'm gonna easily bow out of that one and let the expert that is Carly speak into that.
I love that question. I always say that it's really important. Keep your LinkedIn up to date. It's like your live resume. So a lot of times as a recruiter, I'm using tools on LinkedIn, on our job board to find talent. So I would say keep it as up to date as your resume, putting on skills, or even don't be afraid to endorse like other coworkers you've worked with in the past, but use as an opportunity. It's really easy to update it live and showcase who you are as a professional. So I would keep in mind that it's like your live resume.
Yeah, I mean, I'll chime in now that Carly is, given the right answer, and say, I think the other thing that people look for oftentimes on LinkedIn is just, it's almost like the basic requirement that people kind of go to check Facebook to make sure if a business is real.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to see, right? Are you endorsing people? Are people endorsing you? Are you really active? Or even it's a great way to show that you're passionate about whatever the thing is, whether it is, right, the outdoors, whether it's marketing, whatever those things are. It's kind of an easy and active way to showcase that you're passionate in a professional setting, right? So, you may not want to give an employer access to your Instagram or your Twitter or things like that, but a great way to position yourself and build a profile is leveraging your LinkedIn account to kind of give those extra kilo touch points. But that's such a great question. And I think the other thing I love about LinkedIn, even though I'm not a recruiter, is, the few times when I am kind of sorting through resumes and understanding all the different formats, and while they all look great, sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get on a resume the information I need. But with LinkedIn and everything being kind of standardized in there, it makes it a little bit easier for me to find that.
Thought about it that way. That's a good way to put it.
Did I just drop knowledge on the recruiter?
I think you did.
Wow.
Oh
man, I'm impressed. But yeah, great question again. Thanks for diving in there with that. Any other questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll keep it open. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, Evan, a great question. What are some ways 43 North has developed / changed over the last few years? I've joined the team in 2020. And even since then, right, we've changed in a number of ways. One, and I think the most prominent, would be our prize structure. Originally we awarded, we only had $1 million recipient and several other $500,000 recipients. And after kind of taking a really close look at the environment, the startup ecosystem, and developing an understanding of the way that funding was working, we realized that we could have a much larger impact on these companies and hopefully as a whole on our community by increasing what we were awarding out in exchange for the opportunity to participate in our program. So I think that is one major way that it's changed. I think the other major way that it's changed is that we really have credibility in the VC world. Thanks to ACV Auctions, one of our early investments that IPO'd in March of 2024. No, I'm sorry, 2020.
We're in 2024.
Yeah, right. March of 2021. Excuse me. I think it showed that we have something here that can be a proven winner. And so it's a great opportunity for others to kind of say, hey, there is something special in Buffalo that's different. And so, I think when I hear and when I talk to folks from the early days of 43 North, they always say, if you wanted to talk to the VC startup space in Buffalo, when we first started in 2014, they would say you only needed like a table and 5 chairs. And now we've grown into something that's bigger than that. And I think there's a lot of momentum and there's a lot of belief, right? People hear the word startup and they have an understanding of what it means. And they now know that these jobs exist right here in Buffalo.
Definitely.
Yeah, Evan, great question. Love that and appreciate kind of, looking into the history of all and how we've changed and how we've grown. But yeah, again, guys, right? Drop any other questions you have in the chat. We'll keep it open for a few minutes more. Carly, how I'd love to kind of flip that on to you and ask, right? What have you seen kind of changing even in your time with 43 North?
Yeah, actually, I can relate this a lot to the internship program. So I will be with 43 North 2 years coming up in July. And when I first started, we had a great internship program. And I think we were always trying to gain momentum into like, okay, how can we find and reach more students? Maybe not just in our community, but out there who are interested in our accelerator program and what we're doing. And so this year, I think it was really exciting. We saw a big change and shift in the students, not only from, a lot of students who are from Buffalo that attend school outside of the area, but also students who have never even been to Buffalo applied to our program, which was really exciting for me as the recruiter on the team to see that, wow, we are expanding out. It's not just Buffalo. Our footprint is going even further.
Yeah.
And so we got students from other states that were really excited about the opportunity to come here this summer.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Moving people to Buffalo, helping the people that are here, showing everyone else on the outside how great it is, and that, contrary to maybe what they think on the outside, it's more than just snow and chicken wings.
Absolutely.
I see we have another question in there asking, do we have any recommendations for any books about the startup community or developing yourself to join that community that really resonated with you and why? So I'd say for me personally, and it's so funny, right? Because we have, we kind of started a little 43 North book club when I first joined, because for a lot of us, it was our first time kind of in startup or in that startup community, or even like hearing VC terms and kind of, not wanting to be that person in the middle of the meeting that's like, what? I'm sorry, what were the last 3 words that you just said? Because I don't know what any of that means. And it really is kind of a different language that it's almost like, if you go and you live in like France or Spain for a little bit and everyone's just speaking the language around you, all of a sudden it just seeps in. But there's a lot of great things that also, right, you can read, you can look at. One of my favorites that really kind of helped me to understand is The Lean Startup. It's a pretty easy read, a good book to kind of, really dive into it. There are a few other things that I'll make sure I'll post that onto the 43 North Compass LinkedIn page, LinkedIn user, to make sure I'm answering your question, because there's a number of good books. A book guide, right? Yeah, we'll do a little book review type thing. But I will say, be careful, right? Some of the books on VC can sometimes end up reading like a textbook. And so if you try to read it cover to cover, and I always say this, I got into marketing because I didn't want to do a ton of math. So like even theoretical math sometimes gets me. So I tend to avoid those books, but it's still a great thing to kind of have in your back pocket. But we'll drop that into kind of the chat to make sure there is. And then the other thing I will say is, right, and I heard this when I first joined, and I didn't really believe it, but VC Twitter is real. So it's a great kind of spot to get on there. Follow some of the venture capitalists, follow some of the folks that are investing. They love to talk about kind of the deals, the things they have going on, industry trends.
Cool.
And there's a lot of other great accounts. So you know what? I think we'll add that to the list, right? A list of book reviews, maybe a list of folks who to follow, who can help to kind of get you some education on the startup community.
I love it.
Yeah. And then, of course, right, we will always do our best to put out some blog content about what it means even to work for a startup, to gain a better understanding.
Definitely.
Because like Carly said, right, it is different. And if it's for you, we want to make sure that you have everything you need. But either way, right, having that information is super helpful.
For sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Carly, do you have any recommendations? Anything that you?
I'm just so excited that we had the opportunity to start this today.
Yeah.
And I thank everybody for their questions that came in. We'll be sure that you get your full answers if they weren't answered today during the live. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for many more. We have our next office hours is going to be coming up. So again, follow us to make sure that you're getting up to date. So that way you can come and connect with us in person,
For sure.
hang out, ask your questions, learn more, and stay tuned for more.
Love it.